Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome to a Let's Play of Lynn. Now, I was kind of in the mood to do a visual novel, but a short one, so I went looking around Steam, and I found this interesting little thing here. And this is basically what the store page for the game says here. 15-year-old Lynn has never had the easiest life, but things have become even worse thanks to her upcoming GCSEs. Her parents are always arguing, her big sister is pregnant, and Lynn is terrified that, come exam time, she'll fail everything and disappoint her entire family. To make matters worse, Lynn's been suffering from recurring bad dreams that are cryptic, unsettling, and often violent. Curiously enough, these dreams often revolve around a girl from her school called Lynn, who looks very similar to Lynn. It's almost unsettling. As Lynn's interest in Lynn begins to border on obsession, Lynn's grasp on reality begins to grow more and more tenuous. Will Lynn be able to pass her exams? Or will her own fears and anxieties consume her? So, with a little interesting premise like that, it definitely piqued my interest, so here we are. Although I guess calling this game a visual novel isn't accurate. It's actually a kinetic novel. Now for those of you who don't know, the difference between a kinetic novel and a visual novel is visual novel often has branching pathways throughout its story that you, the player, can choose and thus influence the story. Whereas a kinetic novel is much like, whereas a kinetic novel is much like an actual novel where you don't have any branching story patterns. You don't make any, I can't talk. Now, for those of you wondering, the difference between a visual novel and a kinetic novel is that a visual novel allows you to make choices throughout the game's story and thus influence it in either minor or major ways. Whereas a kinetic novel, much like a normal novel, is just a straightforward story with no branching pathways or decisions of any kind that need to be made by you, the player. You're just basically along for the ride from start to finish. So that's what this is, a kinetic novel. So there doesn't have to be any decisions on my part. Like me, you can just sit here and just enjoy this short story for what it is. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get things started, shall we? When I regain consciousness, I realize I'm in a public bathroom. Oh, we got a stress percentage thing up here. But it's not a normal public bathroom. The bathroom seems to extend outwards forever, infinitely. Like an optical illusion. I'm going to put it on auto. The dim light bulbs are suspended on flimsy plastic strings. They gutter in and out intermittently, unsure of themselves. My head feels heavy. Why does it hurt so much? One stress! I sigh and hold a hand against my temple. I can feel it pulsing beneath my fingertips. Gross. Human bodies are really gross. They're bags of flesh that contain all sorts of stuff. Bones and blood and guts and goo, with hearts that beat and lungs that shudder, and bladders filled up with amber urine. Well, that's pretty much the same of a wide variety of living creatures in general, so welcome to being a living organism on planet Earth. Anyway, I guess I'm going to take it off auto after all. I think it'd be better for me to just completely control whenever the story progresses here. So if I have anything I want to say right then and there, I can at least stop it while I give my thoughts and concerns or whatever pops into my head. and not have to just try to rush through it here while the text is just moving at whatever pace Auto has set it to. Anyway, let's continue. Thinking about it makes me want to dig my fingernails deep into my skin and dig it all out. But I bet that would look gross too. You kind of would. You won't get any arguments from me there. Maybe I should pull my eyes out first, so I don't need to see all the blood as it spatters on the tiles. But if I know anything about biology, which I don't, I'm rubbish at school, blood doesn't stay red for very long. When it's exposed to the air, it oxidizes, I think, and then it starts to turn brown. Then it turns black. I try to imagine what it would look like if this endless, dingy bathroom was stained with my blood. I don't feel anything in particular. It doesn't feel good. I'm going to test the save option real quick. Okay, everything looks normal. It doesn't feel bad. Maybe that's because it hasn't actually happened. It's nothing more than a silly fantasy. My head is still hurting. My footsteps fall against the floor. When did I start walking? I don't know. I feel like I've been walking for years. The walls and the floor and the stalls and the sinks and the dryers and the bins and the mirrors continue to repeat over and over again, in a loop. A stuck videotape. We still have some of Jazz's old videotapes from when she was a kid. It's mostly Disney stuff. Cinderella and Snow White. My parents are too well off, so we had to make do with our battered old VCR long after DVD players became the norm. I kind of miss VCR tapes. And all the inconvenient rewinding and fast-forwarding to certain parts of the tape that you would have to do if you wanted to get to certain spots or just restart the whole thing. Fun, annoying times. Sadly, I'm not being sarcastic here. A part of me does kind of miss that, genuinely miss that here, even though DVDs have long since made watching movies a hell of a lot more convenient. But still, though, back when DVDs first came out, those suckers were expensive as shit. Like, I think a single DVD back then was like, what, about $100 a pop for a single movie, compared to a VCR tape of the same movie, which is like a fraction of its cost. So DVDs had a slow start, but eventually they took over, and well, before I knew it, growing up, VCR tapes stopped being made and we all moved to DVD. But that's progression in video formats for you. Sooner or later, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen on a massive scale, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Oh. Okay, so pushing shoulder buttons on my gamepad allows me to go back and forth between messages. Same with the scroll button on my mouse. Yeah, I got my gamepad plugged in to one of my USB ports. I accidentally hit one of the buttons on there when I was when I was attempting to move my mouse, and well, that happened. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Let's continue on some more. Our VCR was like a monster. It made horrible noises whenever you put a tape in there, and it had cannibalistic tendencies. You mean it ate other VCRs? Must have been a monstrous VCR indeed. You'd like to spit out tapes with the film reels leaking out. And yes, I know that she obviously meant VCR tapes, but well, When I was young, it used to scare me a little. Lots of things scare me. I turned my head, glancing this way and that. There are 5 sinks lined up neatly against with wall. I think you mean the wall. Complete with silvery taps and soap dispensers. Somebody's stolen a roll of toilet paper and left it soaking in one of the basins. Dick. The paper flops limply over the side of the bowl. It's a bit sad. And a bit frustrating. I mean, somebody could have used that toilet paper. The taps are turned off, but water still drips from their faulty heads. They're leaking. The lone roll of loo paper is starting to turn soft. It's collapsing in on itself like something rotten. Don't think about it too much. I think this is only going to increase your stress levels. I mean, I don't know you very well yet, but going by the music in the bathroom, I'm going to assume that thinking about random things like toilet papers rotting in a wet basin is just the sort of thing that might increase your stress levels. I hope I'm wrong, though. I walk past the sinks. At least I think I walk past the sinks. But when I turn my head, I can see them again, right in the corners of my eyes. 5 sinks, chipped and cracked, with soap dispensers and that same roll of toilet paper lying in the rightmost basin. The roll of paper is still being waterboarded by the faulty tap. I walk by, trying to ignore it. But when I glance to my right once more, there it is again. 5 sinks. 5 basins. 1 roll of toilet paper, decomposing slowly. Okay, you definitely seem to be stuck in a bit of a loop here. So that little anecdote with the videotape and all that definitely doesn't seem to be all that far off. I wouldn't blame you at all if you started to get a little stressed here, because I certainly would if I were in your shoes. The toilet paper looks worse every time I see it. White paper begins to flake away from the cardboard skeleton. It melts away. I feel like I'm melting away too. I don't know how long I've been walking. My feet are crammed inside my shoes. My toes are pushed up unpleasantly against the tips so they rub red raw. That's when I realize I'm wearing my old white heels from Aunt Shirley's wedding. Not her last wedding, the wedding before that. It must have been 9. I must have been 9 or 10 back then. I'm 15 now, and my feet have done a fair bit of growing. Yeah, I would say that with that much of a year gap between 10 and 15, your feet definitely had plenty of time to grow. You should probably get some new shoes. No wonder these shoes hurt so much. My feet weren't made for them. Not the feet I have right now, at any rate. Why am I wearing them? I don't know, poverty, can't afford new shoes. It hurts. But I keep walking. I can't not keep walking. I'm afraid something bad will happen if I stop. Suddenly, alarmingly, I'm aware that I'm not alone. We've gone up another 2% in stress levels. There's something behind me. But I don't know what that something is. I look back over my shoulder. My breath catches in my throat. Everything has been swallowed up by a musty, impenetrable darkness. The darkness smells like the inside of a walk-in wardrobe that hasn't been walked into in a very long time. Very musty smell indeed. I tremble. My footsteps strike against the tiles over and over. My heart beats inside my chest. It knocks against my rib cage. My feet hurt. They hurt so much. I think they've started to bleed. Sores and blisters run along the backs of my feet. I can feel welts in the grooves between my toes. They're all bursting. Oh dear. Give it time, and my blood will turn burgundy, then dark red, then black. Aren't burgundy and dark red the same thing? Not quite, as far as color pigmentation is concerned. One is slightly brighter than the other. Everything in here is the same. Everything repeats over and over again. The light bulb, the stalls, the sinks, the taps, the toilet paper, the dryers, and the tiles, and the mirrors, and... The mirrors? What's wrong with the mirrors? There's something strange about the mirrors. But no, it isn't the mirrors. It's the girl inside them. My white shoes slosh when I come to a halt. Everything smells. It smells of mold and urine and my own bodily fluids. But the girl who looks back at me in the mirror, her? Fingers gripping the rim of the sink so tightly the knuckles turn white, isn't me. I stare. She stares back. Questions run through my head. Where am I? How did I get here? What is this place? I was me when I first started walking, I think. But the more I walked in these two small shoes, the less like me I became. I started to change. I just didn't realize it. Not until I saw myself in the mirrors. This girl. So, is that you, or the you that's not you, Lynn? I reach forwards. My fingers brush the surface of a mirror. It's sticky, and it makes me feel sick. But my feet are sticky too, so it doesn't matter. The girl looks like me. She has the same hair, the same eyes, the same nose, the same ears, and the same lips. But she isn't me. My muscles tense beneath her skin. Her face responds. It smiles when I smile, and frowns when I frown. This face is mine. But I know it isn't. It can't be. I'm not her. She's not me. Lynne? When I speak, an alien voice comes from my mouth. My breath catches in my throat. And then... Oh boy. We've gone to full double digits here and when it comes to stress, and you don't look none too happy about it. I feel something brush against the back of my neck. There's nothing in the mirror. But there's something behind me. I don't know what it is, but I know it's something cold. Even colder than the roll of toilet paper soaking in the sink on the far right. I don't know how long it's been soaking for. I don't know how long I've been here. I don't know how long I've been her. I don't know anything really, but I do know that this is it. The end. The end of what? There'll be no more repetitions. Why is that? No more walls and floor and stalls and sinks and dryers and bins and mirrors. There's just me. Me and the darkness and the bad thing that lurks within it. Behind me. Breathing against my neck. Welcome home, Lynn. It seems to say, with invisible teeth encrusted with algae. We missed you. But that's not fair. They've got the wrong girl. I'm not her. I'm not Lynn. Hi, you have interesting earrings, an interesting shirt, and interesting everything, really. So, your name is Jazz. Hello. Hey, Squirt. Rough night? I root through the bread bin, unearthing the last 2 slices of war buttons as half and half. Naturally, they're the crusts, the cast-offs nobody wants. I glare at Jazz. Or is it Jazz? I'll go with Jazz. She's sitting at the kitchen table, eating her own slice of toast, not the crusts. She saved those for me. That's a bit inconsiderate. Oh, thanks a lot. No problem, honey. Why are you so selfish? I wonder. Maybe because I'm a horrible person? Well, I know that. I slot my bread, crusts I mean, into the toaster inside. I feel worked up. I've been worked up ever since I woke up. I was worked up when I was brushing my teeth. I was worked up when I was combing my hair. I was worked up when I was putting on my shirt and sliding up my socks and buttoning up my shirt. Oh wait, skirt. My apologies, I misread that line. Now I'm worked up as I wait for my incredibly appetizing breakfast to finish toasting. I fish a knife from the cut and cutlery drawer and peer inside the inner workings of the toaster. I peer a little too closely, actually, and my hair nearly gets caught inside it. I draw back, startled. Jazz snorts. Well done, genius. Shut up. I stick my tongue out at her. She sticks her tongue out too. I glance back at the toaster, but I don't lean in quite so closely this time. I tap my feet against the floor and sigh. Why is it taking so long? You going anywhere in a hurry? I have to go to school. I don't know why you're so eager. I always hated school. Yeah, but I have exams coming up. I picked up the knife and began to prod at the tops of my slowly toasting crusts. You shouldn't do that. You'll electrocute yourself. Like you care. I really think you should listen to her. That's really not safe. I do care, actually. And you'll definitely care when 1 million watts of electricity are coursing through your thick skull. I'll survive. Oh, really? How do you know that? Do you have some sort of precognition or something? That's what you think. God. Why do kids think they know everything? I'm not a kid. Please. Jazz tuts and rolls her eyes. She does this a lot. It's very effective. Jazz always wears a lot of makeup, and she's good at applying it. Her eyes are particularly expressive. Jazz is pretty already. She doesn't really need makeup, but the makeup makes her even prettier. According to Jazz, putting on her makeup is the sole thing that gets her out of bed in the mornings. You must not have a very happy life then, Jazz. I guess there's not much else for her to do. She doesn't have a job. She just sits around the house all day. Could you maybe try looking for work and maybe? Like, I don't know where this whole story takes place, but I mean, there's got to be something here that you could probably find around town if you look hard enough and long enough, yeah? I don't know, I'm just speculating here. Sometimes I wish I could do that. Although I gotta wonder, if you don't have a job, then how are you paying for all the makeup? I thought you were meant to be the smart one in the family, Lynn. Okay, so I'm assuming then that you are the older sister. I'm not smart. I suck. Literally. Piss off. Jazz is the one who sucks, and that is literal. The bulge of her belly is proof enough. Not that you get pregnant like that. I know that much. I was just about to make a smart little comment on that. I might be in secondary school, but I'm not thick. Not that thick, anyway. The toaster pings. My bread crusts pop up like I should be happy to see them. I'm not. Piss off. I poke the crust with the tip of my knife again. They don't reply. Jazz does. Why are you talking to your breakfast, you crazy girl? I thought you said you didn't want to be late to school. I don't. Then why don't you get a move on? You'll miss your train. I know. I grab a plate and slide my crusts onto it. I smear butter on the crusts an inch thick, like this will somehow make them taste better, and a scoop of lemon curd for good measure. The lemon curd mixes with the gooey, bright yellow butter. The end result looks kind of gross, but it tastes fine. I take my plate to the kitchen table. I stumble on my way there, twisting my ankle on thin air. Ouch. I curse something beneath my breath. Shit. Hey, Lynn, are you sure you're okay? You seem a little out of it. A little, I guess. Bad dream? Yeah. Bad doesn't quite cover it. Okay, so that was a dream we saw at the beginning then. Terrible, more like. My feet still hurt. I checked them when I woke up this morning, trembling, to see whether they were still in one piece or not. I was afraid they'd be bloodied stumps, little bones all broken from being forced into shoes too small for me. They looked fine, but that was 10 minutes ago. What about now? My toes curl against the inside of my shoes. Jas stares at me. Does she think I've gone totally mental? Maybe I have. You were tossing and turning like the girl from The Exorcist this morning, Lynn. You woke me up. So that explains why Jas is up so early. She doesn't usually surface until gone noon. She doesn't have to. Not since she dropped out of sixth form college. All she does is practice her makeup in front of her vanity mirror. Our vanity mirror, actually, since we share the same bedroom. Eat cereal and watch the Jeremy Kyle show. Never heard of it. I stare at my crusts. My crusts stare back, slathered in butter and lemon curd. My stomach churns. I'm sorry, Jas. It's alright. I already had my revenge. The bread? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Lynn is a growing girl, Jas, and then again, you're pregnant, so you kind of need the nutrition a bit more since you got something in the womb here to also give nutrition to. So I don't know who decide. I don't know who to decide needs the bread more here. I honestly don't. Jas coils a strand of hair about her fingers. She looks smug. So, what are you going to be doing today? More studying? Don't mention the S word. Now, you've got your GCSEs coming up in, what, 3 weeks? You better get cracking. I bite into my bread crust smeared with butter and lemon curd. The butter is sweet, oily, and fatty, while the lemon curd is sharp and sweet. It's thick, sticky. It feels like it's clogging my throat. Maybe I put a little too much on. You know, Mom and Dad expect a lot from you. Don't let them down. No pressure, right? See? Lynn agrees with me. I feel sick. I definitely used too much lemon curd. Jas, please. What? It's the truth. After I turned out to be such a monumental fuck-up, the least you could do is not fail all your GCSEs. You're supposed to be the smart one, remember? That's what they say, but... My voice trails off. My cheeks are smeared with toast crumbs and bits of lemon curd. They feel oily. I swallow. I don't want to talk about it. Well, you'll probably be fine. You'd have to try to do worse in your GCSEs than I did. Yeah, but it's different now. You could retake your exams. I can't. Mm-hmm. Sucks to be you. I wonder why that is, why you can't retake your exams. Jas sounds so cheerful, and it kind of makes me want to punch her. But I know I can't. Not anymore. Because she's got something in the oven. We used to fight a lot when we were younger, with hair pulling and scratching, but... Ouch. Like, I wouldn't really raise my eyebrow if it was just like, I don't know, wrestling and knocking each other into stuff, but... Hair pulling and scratching? Now Jazz is pregnant. I'd feel a little guilty about slapping her. You can't hit pregnant women. Even if that pregnant woman is your sister, who isn't really a woman. I don't think she is anyway. She's only 19. That young, huh? She's still a teenager, technically. I click my lemon curdy tongue against the roof of my mouth. I should probably get going. You probably should. Don't drop out of school before your exams start. Otherwise, what would be the point? Sometimes, I think Jazz derives happiness from my suffering. She really is a rotten big sister. She's always been like that. She used to bully me relentlessly when we were little. She was always kicking me beneath the dinner table, hitting me with the TV remote, and whispering creepy stories into my ear at night when I was trying to sleep. She told me Santa wasn't real when I was 4. Jazz, you bitch. Couldn't you have at least waited until she was 12? I cried. I cried a lot. And then she went and got herself knocked up. And now she's so heavily pregnant I can't argue back when she starts being a bitch because I'd feel guilty. Well, maybe I just have a higher tolerance for people's bullshit here, but... I don't know, she doesn't seem that terribly bitchy to me right now. Not saying that she isn't being bitchy at all, but... not that much. Again, by my own estimate. Maybe she's smarter than her GCSE results give her credit for. I drop my plate in the sink. It's coated with crumbs and a smear of buttery lemon. What are you going to do all day, Jazz? Watch the Jeremy Kyle show, probably. Don't you ever get sick of that? Nope. I don't like that show. I think it's mean. It's the sort of people that makes fun... Sorry, it's the sort of show that makes fun of people like Jazz. The audience watches these poor, sad, broken people pour out their guts and argue with each other and break down into tears. And then they laugh and cheer and applaud like it's something funny. Sounds like your average reality TV show to me. It isn't funny. It's real people's lives, and I hate it. You sure it's real people's lives? Because reality TV likes to exaggerate things a bit. Sometimes a lot. But Jazz doesn't seem to care. I know it's mean, but I'm not on that show. Why does it matter? Maybe you'd feel differently if you went on there. But that's a discussion for another time. I run my dirty plate beneath the lukewarm water and frown. It just isn't very nice. Says you. Didn't you give that girl in your class a black eye a few months ago? She deserved it. She called you a slut. She might have been right. I hate to agree with her, Lynn, but, well, I think she has a point. I mean, Jazz and the bully here. Still, though, I mean, I think it's kind of sweet here that you would stick up for your sister, even though she's, again, according to you, been a bit of a bully to you all your life. I mean, I'm hoping that that tells me that at least, oh, Going by the interactions I'm seeing between you two here, she doesn't seem too terribly bitchy to me. Jazz, I mean, and clearly you've stuck up for her a few months ago when someone called her a slut by giving them a black eye, so maybe you two really do care about each other. At least that's what I'm taking from this. Either way, I hope that's what it is, because that'd be kind of sweet. Jas prods at her belly. It strains beneath her shirt like a large, obscene balloon. Maybe I am a slut. This is why I can't argue with Jas anymore. Not even when she steals my apricot yogurts. She doesn't fight back like she used to. Well, when you don't have a job and you're pregnant on top of everything else and all you have to look forward to is just putting on your makeup whenever you wake up in the morning, I can understand why she'd be more than a little depressed with her life. I'd probably be very depressed too. The wind tugs at the hem of my school shirt. I hold it down with one hand and use the other to support the straps of my beat-up old messenger bag. My bag's falling apart, and it doesn't close properly now, but I can't afford a new one. I'll have to bear with it, just like I have to bear with Jas's hand-me-down uniforms and these old, scuffed trainers. At least they're not the shoes I wore to Aunt Shirley's first wedding. I click my tongue against the roof of my mouth. Why am I still thinking about that dream? It must have left an impression on me. That's rare. I have bad dreams on an almost daily basis, but the details start slipping away the moment I open my eyes. I would suggest that maybe you consider seeing somebody about that, a doctor or something, but given what little I know of your family's finances, you probably wouldn't be able to afford it even if you should. So, my sympathies. It's definitely unusual for me to still remember. Not just the gist, but the specific ins and outs of my dream while I wait on platform number 2 at Strawberry Hill Station for my train. What a nice station name. There are a few other people waiting, glancing alternately between their watches and the electronic sign board. Rush hour in London is never pleasant. Okay, so this takes place in the UK. The trains are always packed. I hate going to school, especially with a bulky messenger bag to manipulate. Once, I hit a small child in the face with my bag when I was scrambling onto the train. He cried, and his mother started scolding me very, very loudly in front of all those smart businesswomen. What do you think you're doing, you clumsy girl? His nose is bleeding. You could have caused some serious damage. What do you have to say? By the end of this woman's tirade, I was almost crying too. I couldn't cry, of course, because I wasn't a little kid, and people don't think it's cute when teenagers cry. They think it's pathetic. I was 13 back then. I'm even older now. I don't feel any wiser, though. My GCSEs are coming up soon. Then I'll be finished with school for good. I won't need to ride on the cramped train at 7:30 in the morning ever again, unless I decide to go to college like Jas did. I don't think I'd go to the same college as Jas, though, because she was studying health and beauty. That's a vocational subject. I think Jas is pretty good at health and beauty, especially the beauty part. She knows all about getting your nails trimmed and how to curl people's hair, but Dad wasn't very happy about it. He kept banging on, saying she was wasting her life, wasting her education. We've given you so many opportunities, and you just fling them back in our faces. Why can't you be more like your sister? I imagine getting remarks like these constantly from your parents might indeed stir some resentment towards your younger sibling, even if it's technically not their fault. I don't know why anybody would want to be like me. I don't want to be like me. But at the same time, I glance to the right. I half expect to see a glint of metal taps in my peripheral vision, complete with basins, but I don't. You look a lot like the girl from the dream. Instead, I see a girl around my age, but not quite my age. So I'm assuming, going by your appearance, you must be Lynn. I know her. We're in the same form group. We've been in the same form group ever since We've been in the same form group ever since I started at Gray's Court School. She's a girl who looks a lot like me, with straight black hair and brown eyes. But there's more to it than that. It's the arrangement of the features on her face, and the shape of them too. Her eyes, her nose, her ears, her lips. She looks so much like me, it's a little creepy. She looks so much like me that Mrs. Madley, our form teacher, did a double take when she saw us in our oversized gray court uniforms on our first day in year 7. She asked us, in this very exaggerated tone, if we were twins. Like being a twin is something special. We're not, of course. We're not related at all. Or are you? Plot twist. She's your long-lost twin sister. And she's come to take your place. For reasons unknown. Well, we're probably related in some way if you go back far enough. But the blood ties between us are so weak they'd be about 99.9999999% water. It doesn't help that she has the same name as me. A similar name, at least. My name is Lynn. She's called Lynn. Yeah, I honestly don't know if they're pronounced the same way or not here. So I'm just going to assume that the E isn't silent, and so I'll say Lynn as Lynn and call Lynn, our protagonist, Lynn. If I'm getting it wrong, though, I sincerely apologize. Just goes to show what I know about proper pronunciation for certain names. She's me, but a me who reached into the Scrabble box and pulled out an extra vowel. Her name would be worth more than mine if you tried to play it on the board. Like she's so much better than I am. And, in a way, I guess she is. Her school bag is nice and shiny. So are her shoes. Her uniforms are always ironed, and her tights never have any holes. She's like me, but better. Lynn with an E. She'll probably do better in her GCSEs than I will, too. That's a given. Lynn is very smart. I look at her. I look at her for a little too long, as I often do, and she lifts her head. Her eyes meet mine. Oops. Her gaze hurts. I feel like a needle is digging into the back of my skull. A short, sharp pain splits through the side of my head. I wince. I know this is going to sound petty, but I really, really hate that girl. Well, I guess I can understand why you would, because she does literally, by all appearances, seem to be a better version than you, and you seem to have pretty low self-esteem about yourself, so I can understand why you would hate her, but I guess I can't really relate. Especially because, well, I never found a look-alike of my own in my lifetime, so I definitely can't compare to any situation I ever faced in my life to yours, so... Still, though, I think, all things considered, maybe you should focus a bit more on, I don't know, improving who you are now, instead of focusing on someone else here who you see as like a better version of you. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm trying to think of a way here to explain this here that doesn't sound jumbled or incoherent, but I guess in a nutshell, my advice to you, Lynn, would be to just don't let your look-alike get to you. Just try to focus on yourself. You got enough other things in life stressing you out as it is. And frankly, too much stress is obviously not a good thing, especially long term. Anyway, hello, Susie. Who are you? Hey, Lynn. Guess what Aki bought me? I don't know. What did Aki buy you? Well... Susie smiles smugly, her head resting on her hand, her elbow resting on the desk. Her legs are crossed, but she keeps uncrossing and recrossing them and adjusting the hem of her skirt. Susie's kind of like that. She's one of those girls who's lucky enough to be considered kind of pretty, despite all her freckles, and she likes flaunting it. Her face is nice, I guess, but I think her thighs are the prettiest part of her body. Her thighs are slender, milky and white, and she wears her school skirts a little too short so she can show them off, even in the winter. Even in the winter. I'm kind of jealous. Susie's cute enough as it is. Even her name is cute. Though her full name, Susanna, is a little stuffy. She doesn't need to make herself cuter. Being her friend is kind of bad for my self-esteem. She's had way more boyfriends than I have. It's not fair. Like how many more, exactly? Not that it's hard to have more boyfriends than me. I haven't had any. That's not much of a competition, is it? Like I could ever compete with Susie. He bought me a maid uniform. A real maid uniform. Oh, really? That's cool, I guess. I try to sound enthusiastic. It's hard work. I've had to listen to Susie talking to me. Talking at me, more like. About her dreamy Japanese boyfriend for the last month and a half. Aki. She met him online when she was doing a live stream. He contacted her and said he could compose music, and he knew a little bit about idol culture, and if she was really serious about being a performer, then she could be her manager. Now he's dating her. Well, dating in the loosest possible way, since he lives in Japan and we live in Richmond. It is cool, right? I'm going to wear it on one of my live streams. Neat. Yeah, I picked the outfit out myself. It's kind of expensive, but I mean, Aki has money, so... Susie smiles and shrugs her shoulders coyly. Having a rich boyfriend must be nice. It must be nice having any boyfriend, full stop. Well, unless they're an abusive asshole. Though I guess Aki's more of a man than a boy. And he lives so far away that he and Susie have no hopes of ever kissing and cuddling. Well, all the boys in our year group are stupid. The boys in our form are especially brain dead. Bradley Hurd tried to give himself a tattoo of his protractor and a blue biro pen and maps. He managed to give himself a makeshift tattoo, a lopsided wonky one, but he also gave himself blood poisoning. Yikes. Craig Bentley's always making lecherous comments and trying to peer up girls' skirts when they walk up the stairs. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. In fact, I hate them. Girls my age are meant to be interested in relationships, I think. That's what all the teen books and movies say. I'm not, though. Maybe there's something wrong with me. That's what Jazz says. She had a lot of boyfriends when she was my age, too. But I don't think she ever really liked them. Sometimes I've tried to imagine it. But letting a boy like Bradley or Craig touch me with their dirty, smudgy fingers makes me feel sick. If I had a boyfriend, I think I'd rather have a boyfriend like Aki, who lives so far away, I'd never have to worry about him peering up my skirt or trying to grope me. Not like anybody would want to. Aki's so generous. Susie's still stuck in La La Land. She's mooning over her boyfriend like he's the second coming of Christ. I can ask him to buy me anything, you know? Literally anything. He just jumps at the chance, like it's some huge honor. Try asking if he'd buy you a private jet. Stupid thing. Asian guys are always super eager to please. I think it sounds weird. Oh, Lynn. Susie tuts. She looks sympathetic. You'll understand when you start dating. Stupid boys like Bradley and Craig are rude and mean and make gross comments, but real men know how to treat their girlfriends right. By buying them shit? Why is that? Because they know they're lucky to have us. I mean, look at it this way. I'm a cute young girl. I'm in the prime of my youth. He, meanwhile, is in his 30s. Wait. You're in secondary school, yeah? Crap. How many levels of school are there in the UK? Oh boy. Yeah, oh, whoops. Either way, I'm pretty sure that secondary school is high school, yeah? I could be wrong here, but... like, holy shit. Jailbait much? Well, he says he's in his 20s, but I don't believe it. I've seen the photos. And you're dating this guy? Why? Oh, wait. Because apparently you needed a manager and... he strokes your ego in the right ways. He's old, and he's not really super attractive. I think he's cute, But there are way better guys out there. Why should I be interested in him? So you're just kind of stringing him along then. And you say that he's lucky to have you? Okay. Because you like each other? I guess, but that's not it. It isn't? Of course not. Don't be daft. It's about give and take. He wants a cute young girlfriend, and I want somebody who will spoil me and buy me nice things. Everybody wins. Sounds shallow and greedy. But what do your parents think about Aki? What they don't know doesn't have to hurt them, and you're doing it behind your parents' backs. This isn't totally gonna be a disaster waiting to happen. Aren't they suspicious about all the packages he keeps sending you? Don't worry too much, Lynn. Does she? Susie looks at me pityingly. She always looks at me like that. Like I'm slow in the head. Well, if she's always looking at you like that, then it really begs the question just how much of she actually sees you, how much of a friend she actually sees you as. At least that's what I think. So what if she's had a couple boyfriends? That doesn't make her more mature than I am. But judging by the way she talks, you'd think she was far older. Or more naive, if you ask me. You should live a little. That's why you've never had a boyfriend yourself. I don't think I want one. You will. Give it time. Like it's a foregone conclusion. Susie starts peering at her fingernails. She turns them this way and that, examining them beneath the lights of the classroom. Her fingernails are perfect, just like the rest of her. They're manicured, painted with nude gloss. She never, ever bites them. Who has the time to worry about their appearance that much? Well, I don't know, ask Jazz. Susie, I guess. Susie's been doing live streams from her bedroom for a couple of years now, in her attempts to become a Japanese idol. So, you want to be a Japanese idol? Even though you're like, I don't know, an English angel with white skin and blue eyes. It seems to be working out for her. I think she's actually pretty popular. Not that I watch her streams. It'd be kind of voyeuristic, I think. And anyway, who wants to watch their best friend since kindergarten wearing cat ears or a kimono? Oh, so you've known each other that long then. And yet she frequently gives you a pitying look. I wonder how many actual years of time must add up here with how long with each and every instance of her looking at you like that. Probably exactly 1 year if I had to guess. I guess she has a new costume in her repertoire now, courtesy of her boyfriend/manager. Good for Susie. At least she's happy. She looks happy anyway. And isn't that basically the same thing? Not at all. Appearances can be... You shouldn't judge anything just by appearance alone. Dad and Jess are arguing again. We've gone a full quarter of the way to 100% when it comes to stress, ladies and gentlemen. Not good. I don't think it's Jazz's fault. She probably didn't want to argue, least of all with Dad. Jazz used to bully me a lot when we were little, but I don't think she's a nasty person. Not really. And even if she is, she excuse me, she certainly wouldn't try to pick a fight with our dad. Dad's a lot bigger than both of us. And he's scary, too. He'd be scary even if he didn't have such a quick temper. Yeah, that would certainly create a very stressful living situation, I'd imagine. Dad's shoulders are broad and his hands are very large. They're scarred from years of manual labor. He works in construction. Has done ever since I can remember. It's kind of good Dad works in construction. Usually he's too tired and dusty to do anything other than sigh and grunt and lie on the sofa watching TV when he comes home from work. But that's just most of the time. Not all the time. Sometimes he comes home in really foul moods. His hands cracked and muddy, the palms bleeding, and then he starts shouting. He never starts shouting right away, though. He's always quiet at first, like a volcano before it erupts. That makes it even scarier. Again, I can imagine. Dad isn't a bad person. He doesn't mean to lose his temper. I don't think he wants to shout at Mum, or insult Jas, or make me cry. He does it because he's stuck in an exhausting job he doesn't like. But he never went to college, so he can't get anything better. It's not too late, man. You can always get studying, I'm sure. Then again, I don't really know how applying to colleges in the UK works here, so whatever. Moving on. According to Dad, the job market's in the shitter right now. His words, not mine. And there's no way he can even hope of getting anything halfway decent. That's why he keeps telling me I should study. I have to do well. I have to succeed. I have to make him proud. I think what he really means is, don't end up like me. I was just going to say that as a theory. That's why he got so angry at Jas when she broke the news about her pregnancy. Maybe he thought it was some kind of failure on his part. Or maybe he thought he'd done everything he could for us, and Jas was throwing his efforts back in his face. He's argued with Jas on an almost daily basis since then. Jas isn't meek like me, and she doesn't get scared easily. So she always argues back. Dad started to have a go at Jas as soon as he got home today, and then she tried to defend herself, and things got worse from there. Mom asked Dad to stop, but he just shoved her away. Okay, we're getting physical then. That's definitely not a good sign. Stay out of this, Marigold. It has nothing to do with you. Mom tried to say it did have something to do with her, because Jas is her daughter. And then Dad gave her this look, and Mom hid herself away in the kitchen. Implied threats of violence, would be my guess. I can't see the expression, so I can't really say for sure one way or the other. Dad and Jas are still arguing, even now. I can hear them downstairs, their voices echoing through the house. So you just sat at home and did nothing again? You're wasting your life. Well, what do you expect me to do? I'm 6 months pregnant. I don't want to risk hurting the baby. The baby. It's always the fucking baby. You should have thought about that before you gave yourself to the first man that asked. I already told you, it was a party. I was drunk. And that makes it all better, does it? I wasn't saying that. I don't want to hear it. I didn't raise my only daughter to be a slut. I wish the walls in this house weren't so thin. I could hear them yelling even though I'm in the upstairs bathroom. only daughter? I think the neighbors can hear too. We've had noise complaints more than once. The arguing got so bad at one point, Jas moved out to live with one of her friends for 3 weeks. Mum cried and thought she'd never come back, but she did. Dad cried too. He hugged Jas and called her his baby girl and said he was sorry. He was so sorry. He said he'd never shout at her like that again. He was wrong. I stare at the ceiling. The beige paint is peeling, and mold is sprouting in the corners. The water, now lukewarm, pools around my body. The tap is faulty, and it drips over and over again into the already overfull bathtub. It's not loud enough. Not loud enough to, drown out the noise. There's always so much noise. I sink back in the tub, submerging myself completely. I want to hide from it all. Everything. There are rolls of fat on my tummy, and my legs need shaving. They're nicked here and there with small scars from my last attempt. I have PE tomorrow. It's my least favorite lesson. I can't stand it. I don't like getting changed in front of my classmates. I always worry, compared to everyone else, that my body looks all wrong. I close my eyes. The water flows about my head. It worms its way inside my ears. It's harder to hear Dad and Jas like this. The sound is distorted, like it's happening on an alien planet millions of light years away. I think I'd prefer that. I like to live in space if it meant I could be alone. No Dad, no Mom, no Jas, no Susie, no Lynn either. I wonder what Lynn's house is like. I bet it isn't like this. And next, we have number 86. Miss Harper, will you please step onto the stage? I want to obey the disembodied voice, but I can't. My legs are trembling like a baby deer's. My heart is pounding. So, stage lights, an announcer asking you to come on stage. That outfit you're wearing. I'm going to assume, based on your recent conversation with Susie and you talking about her desire to become a Japanese idol, that you're basically having a nightmare right now where you're basically living Susie's dream. And it's just going to turn into something potentially pretty unsettling. That's my prediction for this. Let's see if I'm right. I can hear them all. The crowd. They're cheering. It's so loud it hurts. They're getting more and more excited. The previous act is ushered off the stage. The red X that marks the spot is free. Waiting. I feel sick. Why did I sign up for this? I don't think I did sign up for it. It must have been Susie. We saw an advert on TV a while back, and Susie said it was a great opportunity. You wouldn't miss out on a shot at stardom, would you? She asked. I would. Very much so. I don't like performing in front of other people. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm not pretty like Susie. I'm not self-confident. I'm not anything, really. I would like to argue, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't really listen to anybody like me if I could actually speak to you anyway. Why am I here? But I'm probably going to share my thoughts on particularly nasty segments where you tear into yourself anyway, because, well, I don't know. I care about people like that. For better or worse. I want to turn around and leave, but I've already come this far. I can't back out now. The roar of the crowd is almost deafening. Miss Harper, will you please step onto the stage? The disembodied voice calls to me again, crackly and distorted. It sounds impatient. The crowd are getting impatient too. So's Susie. She's standing behind me. When did she get there? And she pushes me between my shoulder blades. Her eyes are narrowed. Come on, Lynn. We worked hard for this. You can't back out now. I don't know. I'm nervous. You can't be nervous. Not after we worked on your choreography. And you have such a cute outfit, too. It'd be a shame not to flaunt it. Cute? I'm not so sure. This outfit would probably look cute on Susie, but it doesn't look cute on me. I disagree. My skirt is too short. Or at least what I could see of it anyway. It's several inches above my knees. If I move around too much, I'll be in serious danger of exposing my underwear to the entire nation. What was I thinking? I never think. The longer I stand here in the wings, paralyzed with fear, the harder and harder it gets for me to think, until I start to unthink. Everything I might have thought is slipping out of my skull, like somebody's drilled a hole in my head. Susie, please. I can't. You have to. Aki composed this song especially for you. Aki? I glance over Susie's shoulder. Aki's there, because of course he is. He was always there. He came to see me, because he composed a song for me, and now I have to dance to it. He's in his 30s, but he doesn't look that old. Though when I squint, I can see small lines beneath his eyes. His teeth are a little yellow too, and there are blemishes across his skin. I can't imagine Susie dating somebody like this. But he is rich, so... And your mother made your costume. You can't let her down. That's right. I made it just for you, darling. Mom? Don't look so surprised, dear. I wanted to come and cheer you on. That's right. You can do it, Lynn. And Jas. Jas is here too? Why wouldn't Jas be here? If Aki's here, who I'm sure I've never met before, it makes sense Jas would be here too. I'm not sure about Dad, but maybe he was so ashamed at the thought of his favorite daughter making a fool of out of herself on national television that he couldn't bear to show up. I don't think I blame him. Support! You have lots of it. Not quite enough, though. Miss Harper, if you are there, will you please come onto the stage? The audience are stamping their feet against the floor. I can hear them. They stamp over and over again. It echoes inside my skull. My heart pounds harder and harder. You can do it, Lynn. Don't back down. You're meant to be the smart one. What does smarts have to do with performing on stage? Unless you're like performing like a magician's trick or something. I've always wanted at least one of my children to amount to something. No pressure, Mum. Hey, what about me, Mom? But I... You worry too much, Lynn. You need to live a little. That's why you've never had a boyfriend. Thanks for bringing that up. I feel like I'm going to be sick. But maybe Susie's right. I don't think she is in this case. I do need to live a little. I can't give up before I've tried. I breathe in deeply and square my shoulders. My stomach's churning and I think I'm going to be sick, but I try to suppress it. The show must go on. The show will go on, whether I want it to or not. Oh boy. We're getting close. We're like one number away from 40% stress here. The lights on the stage are far too bright. The roar of the crowd is deafening. I feel like I've been tossed off the side of a ship. I'm drowning in sounds and sensations. There are so many colors I can see the white lights flickering inside my eyelids when I blink. The stage is the only thing that separates me from the crowd. If they wanted, they could swarm forwards and pull me down at any time. Hurt me. Trample me. Break me. I shiver. Susie and Aki and Jas and my mother are waiting for me in the wings, just beyond the plush red curtains, but I've never felt so alone. My fingers tremble. My makeup is starting to run. I'm sweating foundation and eyeshadow and mascara like some sort of clown. A circus freak. The crowd goes wild. So, Miss Harper, will you please introduce yourself? What brings you to Searching for the Stars? Okay, new theory. Maybe she's not performing a kind of music concert, but rather some kind of reality TV show like what Jas watches. But for some reason, she's dressed in an idol outfit. I need to lift my head. Stop looking at my feet. I doubt I'm making a good impression. My grip about the microphone spasms. When did I have a microphone? Oh well, it doesn't matter. I'm Lynn Harper, and I'm 15 years old. I go to Grey Court's secondary school, and I'm not that good at anything. The audience laughs appreciatively. But my friend Susie made me sign up for this, and she put together a routine for me, so I'm going to sing and dance. All right, do your best. Yes, thank you. The music begins to play. It's a song Aki composed for me, but there's something wrong with it. It's muffled and distorted, like it's playing from the bottom of the ocean. Thousands of beady, unblinking eyes are trained on me. They all want to see me fail. Maybe this is what I deserve. I watch Britain's Got Talent and The X Factor in the living room with Jas sometimes, whenever they're on, and we always snigger obligingly at the crap acts. The old women with false teeth who can't sing. The stunt artists who trip and fall over their own feet. comedians who can't get a single smile, yet alone a laugh. I think you mean let alone laugh. It's just a public exercise in meanness, really. It's a way to mock and belittle those who dare to think that they have talent. But I don't think that. I know that I don't have any talent. I'm just Lynn. Plain Lynn. I don't have an extra E at the end of my name. And speaking of which, she's here too. Yep. There's a girl in the audience. I recognize her. She's sitting between two dark and shadowy figures without eyes or noses or ears or mouths. Slender? In contrast, this girl's features are very sharp. Her eyes are awfully familiar. So is her nose, her mouth, her ears, her hair. She looks just like me, but she isn't me. She can't be me because I'm up here and she's down there. Lynn? The music continues. I stand there, feeling stupider and stupider every passing second. I sweat at makeup. Animal fat rolls off my skin in goblets. The audience are getting restless. They start calling out to me. I can't hear what they're saying. I'm glad too. But I get the general gist. They stamp their shadowy feet. They point with their shadowy fingers. They shout with their shadowy mouths. Get her off the stage! She's not doing anything! What a waste! Waste. I really am. Waste. I feel faint. I think I'm going to collapse. Until a strange, scuttling sensation begins to creep. No, not just creep. Caress my body. The touch is almost intimate, but in such an incredibly wrong way it makes the hairs stand up on the back of my neck. What's happening? There are feelers all over my body. Or maybe they're not feelers. Could they instead be legs? Spiders? Yes, legs. That's what they are. Hundreds upon hundreds of tiny insectile legs. They trail down the small of my back. They probe the dark crevasse of my belly button. They squirm against the insides of my thighs. They're everywhere. All of them. Horrible, horrible monsters. My body is crawling with dozens upon dozens of millipedes. Oh my. Where did they come from? I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever find out. The audience are laughing. The sound threatens to burst my eardrums. I have very narrow ear canals. Mom said it was a medical condition. It runs in the family. I can't deal with all of this. These disgusting, filthy, horrible creatures. I try to bat them away, brush them off. A few millipedes fall from my thighs. They land upside down on the wooden stage. Their legs scream pathetically in the air. Hundreds upon hundreds this imagery. I step on them. They burst, leaking black insect fluid all over the wooden stage. The audience laughs harder. They're pounding their feet against the floor. The stage seems to shake. I think you should get off that stage. This whole thing is just getting progressively fucked up. Why are they enjoying this so much? Probably because they're, like you say, sadistic assholes. What did I do wrong? No matter how many millipedes I shake off my body, yet more spawn to replace them. They're endless. They continue to wriggle and writhe, covering every inch of my body. Between my toes, against my armpits, even inside my mouth. Oh shit, we're at 50% stress. I choke, gag. Thousands of tiny legs, even thinner than pipe cleaners, try to prise my lips open. I can feel them wriggling against my tongue. I'm going to throw up. I'm going to vomit millipedes all over the stage. Everybody's going to see. They're going to laugh. Everybody. Except her. Lynn. She won't laugh. She'll just watch and stare, and she won't do anything to help me. Why should she? I never tried to be nice to her. Why would she be nice to me? I can't keep upright. I fall to my knees, squashing several wriggling millipedes beneath me. There are more and more of them. They are not just crawling against my skin, over my brow, inside my bra. Instead, they're inside me. Oh shit. Your stress levels are probably going to skyrocket, aren't they? Inside my mouth. Beneath my eyes. Secreted away inside my veins. I'm choking. I'm drowning. I'm dying. And everybody laughs. Well, that was some pretty disturbing imagery right there, or at least mental imagery. I wonder if this is what anxiety feels like. Reading all this stuff, I mean. If so, then holy shit. I do not envy anybody who has to deal with that. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the episode off here. This is certainly proven to be pretty interesting and honestly disturbing in all the right ways in my book. I'm definitely intrigued. And a little tiny bit unnerved. So, I guess we'll continue watching what happens with Lynn, her studies, her family situation, and I guess whatever the hell she feels is going on between her and this other Lynn in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lynn. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.